Hey everyone, good morning, afternoon, evening. So today I'm going to go, what are CSS preprocessors? Kind of go over that. And a CSS preprocessor, well, CSS is cascading style sheets. It's basically what the website uses to display, fonts, colors, text, changes, stuff like that. And a CSS preprocessor is a program that lets you write that CSS from the language's own unique syntax. And it lets you be a little bit more programmatic and add features that are not in native CSS that the browser understands right now. Some examples include kind of setting variables to colors, having loops, and generally more robust features than native CSS. The preprocessor is then ran and generated in development. So you'll typically have a yarn dev or npm run start development server going, and in production, when it builds, it will compile that Sass syntax or less syntax into native CSS that the browser understands. So there's about a handful of CSS preprocessors out there. The big two that I've used in the past are less and Sass. Sass being a little bit more popular. I see on NPM it's got about 11.5 million downloads per week. And then less is about 5 million downloads per week. So no slouch, but about half. And then there's other ones. In my research here, I noticed that there was Stylus, and then there was something called Post CSS, which I think is the top contender now with 74 million downloads a week. I haven't used it personally, but all of these have their own languages, their own features, and their own specialization. But all in all, it's to make CSS writing a little bit more fun. So yeah, I went over, they're adding features such as mixins, nesting selectors, inheritance. All in all, it makes CSS easier to structure and read and maintain in your code base. And if you wanted to update a core color on the site, in the old days, you would have to go to every place that color was declared and change that hex value or value. So you'd have to do a control F, solution-wide search for that old hex value, and then update it every place. And you have to make sure you get it. With this new preprocessor, all you need to do is update that one variable. So like you have a brand primary green, and then what you would do is just update that one variable location. Hopefully it was declared all over the code base, and updating that one variable, it will propagate through the rest of the code base with one line change. So earlier it would have been a real hassle. Now it's just a one-liner, and you can be sure it works. To use preprocessor, yeah, I was saying it has to be set up on the code base. Usually runs on a development server. And oftentimes, if you're developing in React, Vue, Angular, client-side library, or framework, a server's already running, so it's kind of hooked into that development process. And an example here, this is Sass, SCSS. The background here, you can set it to desaturating this hex value at 30%, and then the text color complement this background color. And also you can set it to, you can see that the text color here and the background here are tied to that variable. So I could just update it here at line 1 or 2, and it'll flow through the rest of the code base. And there are many other features of preprocessors, such as loops, if-else statements, etc. This helps your code base easier to maintain. It keeps your CSS dry. Don't repeat yourself. And it allows your styles to be more maintainable, such as switching a bunch of color updates. This, in turn, helps time savings, and it's a little bit more enjoyable to use than just your native CSS. So too long didn't read. Preprocessors run on a local server. They allow more programmatic features that native CSS does not have. Big ones are Sass and less. Stylus seems to be there as well. And then Post CSS, which is new to me. And they have variables and if-else statements and are generally kind of fun to use. And it saves you and the team time and makes it a bit more maintainable. If we go over to kind of just look at the documentations for variables here, you can kind of see and get more examples there. At a high level, when I go into a new code base or so, there'll be usually a variables folder, and I'll go ahead and look at all the variables declared and then kind of step through the Sass or CSS folder and see what's going on. So that's it for preprocessors. Thank you.